The good morning. I think it's morning. The deeper, higher, further, farther that I go in all of this, the more unclear everything becomes. Yet, when someone says things are unclear, I have to say, no, really, everything's very clear. I have to find clarity because one of the foundations of my spirituality is my intense distrust. Intense distrust that I was born with. Probably past life memories in the blood and the DNA. People like to differentiate between the two, but to me it's really splitting hairs and foolish. Like, there's no reason to split a hair. None. Split ends are like something you cut off because they're split ends. So why the fuck would you split hairs? It's by definition counterproductive. It's stupid. And I just demonstrated it with its own analogy. So I see, the trust teachers, doctors, lawyers, politicians, and the courts. Police, doctors, teachers, first teachers, then police, then doctors, then lawyers, and then politicians, we'll say. Those are the five we're taught to believe as a kid. And the school is teachers teaching facts to students, teachers teaching facts that aren't true to students who don't care. When you get older, you realize the police have no obligation to protect you from anything. Doesn't mean they're bad guys. Just means they want to go home and heat up their dinner, see the wife, and drink a 6-pack, 12-pack usually, you're right. Doctors get so brainwashed in medical school. I say these things as fact because everything I say is true. It's a curse and a blessing. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. They're basically fucking worthless as tits on a bull. Babylon AI may destroy the world. I don't care. I don't care. If we can't improve it, there's no reason for it to exist. You can disagree with me. Of course, I would never know because nobody talks to me, basically. So that's like, when you're young, first you learn, parents, of course, as well, but for the sake of all us parents doing our best, I'm going to give a big middle finger to everyone else except parents. So parents, and then you go to school, teachers, where you learn about police and doctors, of course, and politicians have everything all figured out. So there's your foundation of lies. So in my case, my IQ is 160. Am I bragging? No. No, I'm not. It's actually a source of sadness for me. I do have ADD, if you're wondering why I jump topics and don't finish my sentences. Now you know why. When I was 26, 28, 26, 26, I think, um, I had a near-death experience. I heard my own flatline. Not a big deal. I'm certainly not looking for sympathy when I talk about that. Uh, I'm just giving context for why I'm so different, even if nobody cares except me, because I care to understand why. I want to understand why. I care deeply. I want to help the world, not to sing in perfect harmony. Not yet. Someday that would be a fun side goal, but not a Shangri-La utopian. Oh, we have arrived. There's nothing else to worry about. But because I was so gifted, I was a liability to the entire system. Yeah, the Matrix, everything. I do believe this with every fiber of my being, that I was identified essentially as Neo, if not Morpheus, and Neo, and the Oracle, and Apollyon, and Orion when I was young, which drew the attention of the CIA. A lot of people are afraid to say that. Those letters, maybe they're smarter than me, to be fearful. Maybe they're just doing what everyone else does because that's how people are, which is why nothing changes, because they trust in those 5 things. And I don't want to undermine those 5 things either, because you start going rogue criminal, and you'll wish that the police were dealing with you and not me or anyone associated with me. So, this is the King of Illuminati giving notice to all gangs and leftists and idiots who think that they want a world without the police. I'm just a mouthpiece for legions who will rip you apart if law and order breaks down. You might be the baddest guys on the block when there's law and order. When that goes out the window because you threw it out the window, I caught it and turned it into a fucking worm machine, which is coming back on you with vitriol that you just can't imagine. I don't know what it is, maybe it's my personal health, but I'm not going to back down. I was at the gym last night, saw this black guy, right? And I saw him. I noticed him. There were 2. One downstairs, normal enough, like everyone else, chilling. The one upstairs, I noticed as being slippery, as being wrong, as being like someone that you have to watch your back around. And he knew that I noticed. And I didn't like make it clear. I didn't give him 30 looks or nothing. But I did, um, you know, make sure to look both ways, so I wasn't just staring in any particular direction. And this slippery bastard, and this takes like precision timing. When you're dealing with someone like me that's really aware, you have to be really fucking slippery with a really slippery mindset to be able to go behind me when I know you're 20 feet to my right and I look to the left far, and then when I look back to the right, you've just slipped by me real close to me as a way of saying I can get close to you. Some of you know that I let myself I helped. Well, I got set up. They were trying to kill me, but it was a total setup. I've bitched about it a lot. And he was there to kill me, and that's it. Or to fight me, and he wanted to kill me. That's why he was there. Living next to us, he'd been placed there just like we'd been placed there. And I kind of knew it, but I beat him at basketball, and then we played basketball again, and he kept punching me in my liver and my kidney, and I left because he was acting like an animal. It was embarrassing. I'm not gonna he's a grown man. I wasn't gonna be like, you can't act like that in polite society. This is New Hampshire. This is not the hood. And I know that if he was where he belongs, he wouldn't have been showing his ass like that, spiking the ball, trying to scare friggin' 10-year-old kids on the basketball court. So anyway, a couple weeks later, I recover from all the punches in my back, all the cheap shots he'd given me. And Don gives him the signal to attack me. And this dude never shovels. He didn't help with anything. He might have helped smoke the crack next door at the crack house, but he didn't contribute anything to anything in his entire life. I am certain. So anyway, it was obviously a confrontation. And at the time, I didn't say anything because I don't trust the police. And since then, I've learned to trust them far less. Far less. And they know that they've totally fucking screwed up with me. So, that's fine. But to get past him, I hit him with something. It wasn't my fist. Some part of my arm. I'm faster than you'd ever want to know. And he's lucky I didn't really want to friggin' hurt him. But if I had, I would have gotten in trouble because I'm white. And, white people are expected to behave like human beings. But blacks just aren't. Nothing is expected of them. We make excuses for them. The interracial violence and rape is like astronomical, black on white and Hispanic on white. And it's a war that's been going on a long time, and you can call me crazy, but when I was young, don't worry, when I was young, a young liberal, I sided with the poor dumb blacks, because that's how liberals think. Those poor dumb blacks, they don't know any better. Than the Bob Marley song, "Stolen from Africa." But really, they sold each other. They still sell each other. Like, they're scumbags in general. Like, straight up. There are legitimately some pretty good guys who are African American. But if they were suddenly around a bunch of African Americans, that civilized side of them, watch Mike Tyson's comedy routine, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Watch the Tupac and Biggie uh, documentaries and what Snoop Dogg says about when the East Coast and West Coast were there at the awards show. Go do this. And then go watch American History X again. And we'll cover that movie a little bit more in the future. But a couple days ago, I was helping a friend of mine for a minute, just homeless, got, you know, frostbite on her hands and stuff. So I helped her, and she's got Stockholm syndrome from living on the streets, and she can't call a spade, and I'll help her over time if I can. If I can't, then I won't. But I went back into the store, and there were these two black guys trying to figure out. Neither one spoke English. They were trying to figure out how to use Western Union, and one guy was like, talking to the cashier, and he was dumb. He was so dumb. He was so dumb. Not just the language barrier. Dumb, desperate, intrusive, totally no manners at all. None. And she's like, yeah, I need a 10-digit number, not an 8-digit number, not a 10-digit number. So he repeats this back to her, 5, 6, 7 times, and saying, I did not know, they did not tell me. And I dropped the magazine I was reading, and I'm like, she just told you. Now you know. So go get the 8-digit number. And I held up 8 fingers. I'm like, that's what you got to go do. And he wants to keep talking. There's another person in line before me. And listen, the bottom line is this. Manchester, New Hampshire is the only place in New Hampshire where homeless people are allowed. There are no homeless shelters anywhere else. I understand there's a lot of crime that comes from the homeless on account of they're homeless. A lot of them are on drugs. A lot of them have been through terrible life situations. But here's the thing. We should have homes for them. Donald Trump says, keep America great, make America great. But he won't say, make America great for American citizens. Deport illegal immigrants so that we can afford to take care of our own. The law of one people like to talk about. I like to talk about taking care of our own first. And let me tell you, if this thing about me being the king is for real, these people better be walking on the softest eggshells in the world, because I've been saying, unleash me for like years. And when they do, some people might think I'm going to stumble, out the gate and be wishy-washy and cave in when the left throws, meat walls of women and children, which they will because they're total scumbags. I'll probably take a week or two to think it over, or I'll give some orders and then take a week off to go relax, because I've not had a vacation in a long time. I'm ready. Are you ready?